Okay, I'm calling the January 1st, 2020 organizational meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board to order. We're going to begin with swearing-in ceremonies, and then from there we'll call the roll call. In the order for the swearing-in ceremony is myself, then Councilmember Christou, Councilmember Samantha Miller-Herrera, and then our Highway Superintendent Larry Lamar. So let's get started on that. You ready, Wolf? You want to stand up here with me?
He's eating a cookie now.
Okay, you can stay there. You can stay there. Thank you very much. Val, you want to come up? Swear me in. So, you stand right there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold the Bible for me. All right, and I'm going to go like this, and you're going to read that to me. And go slow so I don't miss any words. Okay.
I, Stephen Thomasone.
I, Stephen Thomasone.
Do solemnly affirm.
That.
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office.
Of Rotterdam? Is that what
Sure.
Okay. Of Rotterdam.
Town Supervisor.
Oh, of Town Supervisor. According to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Of the office of Rotterdam Town Supervisor to the best of my ability, so help me God. Thank you. That's it. So this is our youngest daughter, Valerie, and to our grandson, Wolf, my wife, Marilyn, and the rest of my family, I think, is home doing January 1 things, which is recovering from New Year's Eve and whatever else they do. But I'm happy to have them here. And Valerie's going to be 25 in a couple of weeks. Or no, 1 week, right? January 6th, a couple of days. So thank you very much, Mr. Christou.
I,
do solemnly affirm
Evan Christou, do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the
duties of the office of
Town Council Member
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
So help me God.
Come on, it's your turn. Come on, Violet. Come on. Ooh, come on. You help hold it?
Raise your right hand. Your left hand on the Bible. Repeat after me. I, Samantha Miller-Herrera,
I, Samantha Miller-Herrera,
do solemnly affirm
that
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the
duties of office
of Town Council Person
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Raise your right hand for your left hand in the Bible and repeat after me. I, Larry Lamora,
I, Larry Lamora,
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of office
of Highway Superintendent
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Nice job. Just got one piece of business I have to do before we start.
Martha. Yep, the board there. Just
Just make sure it's not here somewhere.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you all. Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Present.
Mr. Guerrero?
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Present.
Mr. Signor?
Present.
And Mr. Thomason?
Present.
5 present.
Okay, would you all please stand for the pledge? Mr. Schaefer, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just have some remarks to make, and some of it may be repetitive to those of you who've been involved in our meetings or coming to our I guess I'll say our past events that we've had at the town regarding some of these projects that we've had happen in Rotterdam. And I'm just going to give a few brief remarks as we approach. First of all, Happy New Year. It's a new decade, and I'm excited about what the new decade holds for all of us. So just begin with that. So 200 years Rotterdam has existed. This year we will celebrate our 200th anniversary. Our 2020 Celebration Committee will release a calendar of events planned to date, with more to be scheduled throughout the year. And our official date is April 14th, so we have a lot to do, but as the town had celebrated its sesquicentennial 150-year anniversary some time ago in 1970, they had events throughout the year that they celebrated at different times. So while the date of our 200th anniversary is important, we'll have events before and after the actual date of our 200th anniversary. So last year our town began the task of updating our Rotterdam's comprehensive plan, and we invite everyone to take part in the meetings, and as I've said in the past, be engaged in our town's future to aid us, those of us who are in government, whether it's on a town board, people who work for the town, our planning commission, our zoning board of appeals, and other committees and people who take part in helping our government succeed and preserve our local, our historic and rural character. That's very important to us, and the comprehensive plan will give us that. It will also help us to attract new business, redevelop existing sites, and offer new housing opportunities while we preserve green space and protect our aquifer, which I believe are sentiments and things that we want shared by everyone. Our main priorities remain to ensure our public safety and town operations on all levels are properly resourced, to grow our commercial tax base and remain under the tax cap with our future budgets. We want to continue to improve upon Rotterdam's housing and new business prospects. We have a continuous commitment here to expand our town's water and sewer infrastructure, and I think we've seen that particularly in the last 4 years. We also need to continue to improve and expand upon our parks and sidewalks throughout the town, and we're working on that. We have been successful in getting some grants for that as well. So this past year, Hamburg Street's reconstruction with new sidewalks, sewer, and water lines was deemed complete. The Whispering Pines Senior Community will begin construction this year and will bring sewer service not only to that project but to Carmen Road, which will connect to Hamburg Street. The $2.1 million sewer project on Carmen Road was awarded a Clean Water Infrastructure Grant of $533,000 just last month from the state's Environmental Facilities Corporation. Our wastewater, sewer, plant, and pump stations throughout our town have already gone over $3.5 million in upgrades and improvements. Thanks to our state's focus on investing in local infrastructure projects and with the help of our county economic development team, town designated engineers and Metroplex, in the past few years alone, we've been awarded more than $10 million in grants for our water, sewer, parks, and buildings. Private enterprise continues to compete for and win state grants, and just to give you some idea, the apartment project that is right down the road here, the Solera Phase 2, received a $750,000 grant from the state for Buildings of Excellence competition. So it is, you know, it's not just the public sector here for us, also the private sector is getting awards in Rotterdam as well. So that's just to mention that. This is just one of them. We have acreage under contract on Campbell Road, so for those of you that drive by that particular stretch across the street from our wastewater treatment plant, that's property that we have under contract to move our highway department there sometime between 2021 and 2022. I would estimate that we'll be having that department there in total. This year we're moving on building a new salt storage building and move our brush and leaf operation to that site as well. Last month we were awarded a $357,000 grant from Governor Cuomo's Regional Economic Development Council for the new salt storage building. So that's going to be, we need that badly, so I'm excited about that. So as soon as we can get that property under our control completely, we can begin to do the site work that's necessary to get that building constructed and then could start to move operations there. In order to meet our future needs for new buildings, infrastructure improvements, and ensure that our town employees are working in a safe and productive environment, I'm going to be asking the board to forego some open positions this year, if possible, and pare down our budget a bit. Later this year, we're going to release plans for improvements to Town Hall and begin the process of preparing our existing highway property for sale and redevelopment. There's a lot to do there over time, and I don't want to wait until the last minute. And I know our highway superintendent, Mrs. Lamar, doesn't want to wait until the last minute to start getting things cleaned up there, so that we can not only sell that property, put it hopefully into private hands and get some tax base out of it, some new development there. But you know, more importantly, that's one of the only ways we're going to make sure that we get that new highway department built in a shorter period of time also. So we have to move quickly. So in closing, on behalf of our board, and our sincere gratitude to our residents who are presently in our armed services in the past have served our great country. Thanks to all of our town employees and our residents who participate on our town committees and boards. Thanks to the EMTs, paramedics, fire medics, volunteers, our youth leagues, members of our organizations here in Rotterdam who do tremendous things for our community, our churches, for their selfless work and dedication to our town. And as I've said in the past, I think it needs to be repeated. You know, we all want to be successful here, and we do that by working together. We don't always agree on everything, but we work very hard to come to a consensus to move the town forward. That's why we get elected here. We're not just here because we absolutely love each other. We do. We all like each other. That was one thing I'll say.
I love you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. But I think that we all feel thankful for what we are able to do for our town, and we're thankful for all those who live and work in the town. And we'll spend more time on what we agree upon rather than what divides us, and we'll do well. So thank you for being here today. We appreciate your time. For those of you who want to go do something more important, it's okay to go. No kidding. I think it's going to be a quick meeting, so if you'd like to stay for the whole thing, you're welcome to do so. So we have public comment privilege of the floor at this time. Anyone on? We have no one. Okay. All right, so let's move into the resolutions. Resolution 120.
The town board of the town of Rotterdam, excuse me, acknowledges the appointment of Evan Christo to the position of deputy supervisor of the town of Rotterdam.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Signor. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question?
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes, sir.
Does this mean it's too late for me to
Yes.
put in for this position?
Yes, it is. I know that was a joke, but yeah.
Is it too late for me too, Steve?
For all of you, because you had this agenda a few days ago. So should have consulted with one.
I think my page was conveniently left absent.
Okay, all right. Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
I will abstain.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasville?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstain.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. I've got to sign a piece of paper to actually acknowledge all this, just to let you know. Yeah. So, and I don't have that in front of me.
So it's got two chicken
So,
Milanes.
whatever it is, maybe we'll talk about it. So Resolution 120 passes. Resolution 220?
Reappoint Catherine A. McGurl, ESQ of Schenectady, New York, as town attorney for the town of Rotterdam for a term commencing January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2021.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Okay, anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasville?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 220 passes. Shall we swear you in? Okay, let's do that. Yeah. You'll leave it? All right. So, just leave it there. Okay. You want to just read it? I, Kate McGurl,
I, Catherine Alice McGurl,
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of town attorney
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of town attorney
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You're sworn.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're getting our proper legal advice. So what happens with certain positions in the town, they run consistent with the supervisor or the mayor or the cities and that kind of thing. So that's why you see the terms the way that they are from time to time, besides the boards who have 5-year terms or 7-year terms. So we don't necessarily just pick them that way. We have some control over terms, the length of terms with different committees, but not when it comes to how things are hardwired, if you will, in state law. So, just to give you some idea there. Okay, Resolution 320.
Appoint John Denny as chairman of the town of Rotterdam Planning Commission.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasville?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 320 passes. Resolution 420.
Appoint Phil East as chairman of the town of Rotterdam Zoning Board of Appeals.
May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, I would just like to acknowledge that Phil Eats is here in the room with us. He has served for many, many years as chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and appreciate your dedication, Phil. Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasville?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 420 passes. Resolution 520.
Appoint and reappoint individuals to the town of Rotterdam Conservation Advisory Council.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Christo. Anyone on the question? Okay, on the question, I would just like to say that Andrea Coppola, Kathleen Curtis, and Kathleen Fisher, who have been on the Conservation Advisory Council for some time, are being reappointed for a 2-year term beginning January 1 and ending December 31st, 2020. Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 520 passes. Resolution 620.
Appoint and reappoint individuals to the Town of Rotterdam Parks and Recreation Committee.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? So on the question, we're appointing and reappointing a handful of people for a term, for a 3-year term, commencing January 1, 2020, ending December 31, 2022. That would be John Myers, Steve Parks, Fran Pugliese, Robert Gagliardi, and Russell Cooler. So Ms. Markle, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5
Okay,
yes.
resolution 620 passes. Resolution 720.
Appoint and reappoint individuals to the Town of Rotterdam Sick Leave Fund Committee.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Ms. Miller Herrera, second by Mr. Gitterelli.
Sure.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Mama!
Ms. Markle, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 720 passes. Resolution 820.
Appoint James M. Schaefer, Ph.D. of Rotterdam, New York, to the position of Town Historian, part-time, with no employee benefits, with an annual stipend of $500.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the
Okay,
motion.
a motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Okay, anyone on the question? So on the question, I would just like to say, John Woodward, who was our former county clerk and was town historian, is focusing his efforts on our 2020 celebration. Has asked that we move to appoint someone else to the position. And honestly, John was the first person to say Jim Schaefer besides myself. And Jim comes with a phenomenal background, and Jim is here today. So Jim, I just want to thank you for taking it on, and thank you for the work that you've also done on our Conservation Advisory Council over the years on different, I'll say, bringing attention to the people in the town of Rotterdam to different things that are important. So thank you. So, Ms. Markle, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 820 passes. Resolution 920.
Authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with Cusick and Company, Certified Public Accountants, LLC, 7 Airport Park Boulevard, Latham, New York, to assist the town of Rotterdam with the transition of the position of comptroller in the year 2020 in an amount not to exceed $5,000.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gitterelli. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Markle, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 920 passes. So if you would all just look through resolutions 10 through 41. See if there's anything there that you'd like to bring up.
Mr. Supervisor, I would like to make a motion that resolutions 1020 through 4120 be approved as a consent agenda.
Okay. So a motion by Mr. Christou for consent agenda for resolutions 1020 through 4120. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Ms. Miller Herrera. So on the question, there's a lot here, but I'll tell you that from everything having to do with just our ordinary business on an annual basis that we have to affirm, if you will, or confirm on January 1 for the town operations to work that's being conducted at our senior center, to just basically enhancements to our security for our buildings, to contracts for benefits for our employees, and then various other positions that we have to operate for our zoning board and other business of the town. That's what's contained in these other resolutions here, and along with just some financial, if you will, financial considerations that we have to make for different things like reimbursing for mileage and things like of that nature. So that's what's contained there. We also have one other resolution, which, just to explain a little bit, number 41, and what that is we have, from time to time, you know, we have one or two people that basically are licensed and can operate our wastewater treatment facility. And so if one or two of those people are out ill or someone is on vacation, everybody needs to take vacation, and so sometimes those things happen at the same time. And so we are engaging with Barton and Judas to just have them basically on call for us to assist us with our wastewater treatment plant for redundancy's sake only. There's no like private takeover or anything like that of our wastewater or our water system. As long as I'm here, that will never happen, but we have to engage people who are licensed and recognized by the state of New York, not just the health department of the state of New York, but our own county as well, to be able to operate our plants under the auspices of every factor, whether it's environmental or whatever it happens to be. So that's what that resolution is about also. So anyone, any questions on any of the resolutions? No? Okay. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll for consent items 10 through 4120, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signo?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, so resolutions 10 through 41 passed. Does anyone have anything else under committee reports or anything that they'd like to bring up at the meeting here today?
Mr. Supervisor, I move to adjourn.
Oh my God. I know I said that out loud, but that's the way I feel sometimes when I haven't even looked at my paperwork yet. Just kidding. All right, let's go. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Do we have 4 seconds?
Samantha Miller Rivera was the other.
6 seconds.
Who was it?
So Mr. Christou and Ms. Miller Herrera. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much for coming to our organizational meeting January 1,
Mr.
2020.
Supervisor, I want to acknowledge that your grandson Wolf was trying to give you a Cheerio during the meeting and you
Yeah.
totally ignored him.
He likes to share.